Okay.
Okay.
So, one of the things that happens quite often is that the videos do not record the opening of our talks, that I only ask later. And some of the really best moments happen right at the very beginning.
Indeed.
And so now that we've got the recording on, you can repeat a little bit for
Yeah,
the recording what you've been talking about.
sure. So while practicing, just relax, enjoy, relax, enjoy. At some point, I saw that what I'm when I relax is because there is a contraction around something. It's contracting.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, it suddenly kind of made sense that what I'm contracting around is an idea, a concept,
Mm-hmm.
something really just a concept, and that each time something it contracts, it's always around something conceptual, and relaxing. At some point, I saw kind of that past is an idea, and that future is an idea too, and I can drop it. And that breathing, I didn't know anymore if I was breathing in or out because that was an idea too. And at some point, heaven breath was just an idea that cannot drop. And it felt like, okay, if I just drop, like there are no hindrances. And okay, I suppose this is jhana. What is meant by, like this is pleasant, calm, la la la, and no hindrances. And that's it, and that was it. And as soon as and I see the thought, oh, that's it, that's what it means. And then, oh no, drop it. And that was I was like, oh my god, that's it, that's they keep repeating it, just let go. And that's what they meant. That's just what
Yes.
they meant. And so in that moment, I saw that, man, I have no doubt. That's it. That's just what I have to do. That's the path. I just need to go that way, and I don't know. That's it. That so
That is so important. What you just said, you almost, as if you were reading back what I've told to you, or reading it right out of a book,
oh, okay.
in the
Well, then,
sense of the dropping of the doubt, that you know for sure now that this is the path, this is the right way to go.
yeah, I mean, anything else, I can be sure, but that one thing was like, okay, this is the way. And there is just no other way, because everything when I look around, even now, I start to see this. There are a lot of ideas, of conceptual stuff, but that if I just drop all of that.
You're right. I have not used that word ideas much, but one of the things that happened to me a long, long time ago was that I recognized that I would have a whole lot more ideas than I would ever be able to do. That ideas come easy. Getting
Yeah,
it done, that's not so easy to do. And so that allows us to detach from our ideas, because everybody has a whole lot of good ideas.
yeah,
Until they recognize those are just ideas, they will attach to them one at a time, wanting it to be so, going through the wanting it and then the withdrawing. But maybe they just forget all about it. But for a little while, we get really stuck into those ideas. What's the point? I've had plenty of ideas since then, but almost all of the ideas that are worth having have to do with the Dhamma,
kinda, yeah.
which a lot has to do then with the idea of dropping the ideas.
Yeah, it's not I'm going to win the next Nobel Prize anyway, you know.
Not only that, but if you did, would it make you happy? And for how long? And would you want a second one after that?
Yep, yep. So yeah, that was like, oh, some some nice stuff. So and the most interesting thing is that, you know, it really felt like, okay, when I relax, it's really that word, mind release. It's really mind release, and that mind release is the practice, and that this one, you know, it doesn't matter if it's the breath or whatever I do, you know, I can just mind release. uh so yeah, nice thing.
So you're reporting some success.
Sure, yes, I believe so.
Yes, also, and you're feeling like that you're able to do it,
Yeah.
that you
This,
can do this.
yeah, this one is like, oh, I know, I can do, I know, I understand. Finally, like, I understand what I'm doing, you know. It's not just faith, it's really like, oh no, I know what I'm doing, you know.
Exactly.
I saw that if I just expand, you know, like opening and it disappears, it dissolves, and oh, and so I don't know how long I will have to do that, but
Well, if you enjoy doing it, then how many times does it take?
just not
It
even a
does,
moment, you know. It's really,
yeah, if you're doing it in the moment and you enjoyment, I mean, what is your other option? Is to stop enjoyment because you've decided that you've had enough of it? Well, I've checked that out now.
no, no. So yeah, I suppose, you know, it's more like report, and you know, oh man, looks like I'm going to go. I'm gonna keep doing that. Seems to work.
Well, that's a good report. I'm really glad that we're recording this so that other students will know that they can, with proper correct practice, reach that kind of level. And that, in fact, this kind of state that you're in now, especially when you first called, was a state of rapture, that state of pity. That's why I keep putting these points back of, don't you feel like you're successful?
Yeah, and the
That
thing that
you
was,
can do this, because that's what's going on, is that you're feeling the real win, that power, that knowledge that you can do this, that you're going to be the lion, or you are the lion in this moment, in fact.
yeah, I believe the most yesterday's sit, it was I was just, you know, like sitting and doing that, you know, expanding and enjoying, expanding, enjoying, expanding, enjoying. And at some point, you know, I wouldn't call that like awesome thoughts, you know, but it was like inside I was laughing so much, you know. I was, I was like, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, let's do it more. Boom, boom, boom. So, so nothing like amazing states or whatever. Just
But that, no, here's what you just missed. You see, you're still expecting an amazing state,
yeah,
where in fact you're in an amazing state.
yes, but that expectation, I can see that it's poof.
Yes, and we can let that, oh, this is good enough. When are we ever going to get to the point of being successful? You've got a good time. This is a good place to feel
Yeah.
really good, really successful at this. What else could we want? If you can
Yeah.
maintain this kind of position and attitude, what left is there to do, to struggle over? Nothing is worth struggling over, because
No.
struggling is going to take you out of the state that you're in now.
Yes, and I could see that anyway, you know, like any kind of expectations or whatever, or ideas, like it's the contraction, you know, and it's not pleasant, man. It's suffering. I can just relax.
Exactly, exactly so. That's, isn't that amazing?
it's like that guy
Yeah,
is
you're
a
coming
genius.
full frontal assault on the fact that having mind full of hindrances is suffering, and it is better to drop
Yeah,
ideas, to drop the past, to drop plans for the future, and just be in the here now. Like this moment is nice.
yeah. In that moment, I really felt like first, oh my God, we make it so complicated. you know, we we make it so complicated when in fact it is not. It feels very zen-like, when walking, just walk. Ah, that's what they meant, you know.
Ah, you see, they told you everything that you needed to know, but we didn't have the context of putting that in there.
Yeah, and
We don't understand just sitting until we come to that aha moment. Oh, that's what they're talking about.
yeah, what like what am I supposed to drop? But I'm just supposed to drop these ideas, concepts, just ah, feel so stupid at the same time. Like oh my God. But at the same time, I've grown since I've reflected a bit, and man, do I say that as I see it for now, at least that yeah, if we talk about the path and all of that, and our hands and at some point, this can be only a wandering monk, like it's the only one who can show me that, man, I've dropped everything. And I'm like, that's why they say it's only monks.
That's actually quite a training. The wandering monks in are commonplace in Thailand.
Yeah,
It's so
homeless.
common that any particular Wat will wind up by sundown having some strange monk wander in. And if nobody ever gives him anything or pays any attention to him because they're off someplace, he can just set up right there in the Wat, go find a little corner someplace off out of the way, and make his camping place right there in the safety of the Wat.
Yep.
And when he wakes up in the morning, he'll go out with the monks on their established route. Now, here's the thing that's interesting is that you never see these guys walking out on the highway. That's because there are so many footpaths and so many byways that are all throughout the woods and the jungle, and people kind of know it. And it wouldn't be like a Westerner kind of wander around, but rather when the monk is on Tudong, the lay people in that area really want to help, and they say, "Oh, go that way, go that way there. That's the right way for you to go. Where are you going? Are you going south?" And so they help them a lot like that. And so out in the byways, in the time at Wat Suan Mok, because Wat Suan Mok was so regularly visited that way, in some, especially some parts of the year, they would just whole bunches just show up. And in one case, with one group, they just happened to have picked a cootie, and then a whole bunch of them gathered around that cootie. And when I got back to my cootie, it was totally occupied, and there was absolutely nothing that I could do. Now, in that young age and that young day, I was saying, "Oh, they should not be taking my hut away from me." So I storm off and go talk to Ajahn Po, and Ajahn Po laughed at me, and he said, "You can sleep over there tonight. You can sleep the way these guys are sleeping.
Yep.
You think that coochie is yours, huh?" And that was a good lesson, but that was not the only lesson. But meanwhile, yeah, on a regular time now in South Thailand, especially back then, they sometimes traveled in groups of as many as 20.
Oh.
But commonly, especially up in the Northeast, um, I've had Robert look out for them. And he says, "Oh, yeah, you're right. only there's fewer of them. We see them in groups of 3, but you don't ever see them in town. That if they have to come to town to go to the Wat, they'll find a way to get into that Wat without spending any time in town. And so those Wats that are in the center of the city don't have a lot of Tudong monks. But here's one of the things that's very interesting in Bangkok, and that is that there is an area in a public park where they are known to collect.
Oh.
It's like a camping ground, and all the monks just go camp there because it's easier to get into that area of the city without having to disturb any traffic or anything. And so, yeah, there's a lot of wandering monks. In fact, all of the monks do it at least once or twice. I had a plan with a group of guys. We were absolutely intent and mapping our route across Thailand through Burma into Chittagong, and from there across a very short area of Bangladesh into India. And that's a common route. That many monks who go to India on pilgrimage, they walk there.
Well, why not?
Well, that's a whole lot easier to do than wait around for some rich farang or something to give you a ticket.
Yeah. It's not like you're going anywhere anyway, so.
Right, exactly. And in fact, you can enjoy the trip.
Yep. You might as well enjoy the weather.
And so wandering monks or Tudong, they're actually beginning to revive it. I have heard one monk is still in process crossing the United States, and that another monk has already successfully done that for Australia. But in Australia, they really had to plan it carefully in advance so that he knew where he was going to spend tonight. And they had to have enough of them so that he would be able to have all that planned in advance. But in a way, that also happens in Thailand, except that the plan is not in the mind of the monk when he starts out. The plan is delivered to him by the folks along the way. Because they know the plan. And so the monk doesn't have to. But in Australia, the folks along the way, unless they're particularly already into Buddhism, they're not going to know about the plan. Where in Thailand, everybody knows the plan.
Yeah. Oh, well. Still seems fun. Well, I suppose it only looks fun, when you're with the mosquitoes or stuff like this. Suddenly you reevaluate a bit.
Now, here's the funny thing. You can go on the internet and go on to Thailand or other kinds of places where there's a lot of people chatting, and you'll find people saying, I've been in Thailand for 20 years and I never saw any of these Tudong monks you're talking about. Well, we know where you've been staying, don't we? Because, most people don't see them.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because they're not out on the streets, they're not on the roads. They avoid that.
Yeah, I'd avoid that too.
And so they're not out where people are. They're on the back paths. They're walking down this narrow place between two rice paddies. And that narrow place that they're walking, in some parts of times of the year, they can't be out walking in that area because of the flooding and all of that and messing with the crops and whatnot. But when it's okay for them to walk there, the farmers will say, yeah, go that way, and send them right off down through the the cow pasture or right down through the rice paddies. So there's a lot of pathways that are available out there, and they have the same kind of camping equipment that they've had all of these years. The main piece of camping equipment is a robe called the Sangati. It's the same size as the general robe, but most of these Sangati robes are double stitched, which means they're two robes actually put together exactly and then stitched together so that there's air pockets and whatnot through there. So they're kind of big. This Sangati then can be used as a tent. It can be used as a shelter for rain. It can be used as a pillow. It can be used for laying things out when you're arranging your bowl, putting your goods together to go camping. And most of the objects that the monk will carry, he'll actually carry in the bowl.
Okay.
And many of them will also carry an umbrella. But it's a special umbrella for monks because it's big and it has mosquito netting stitched all around. And so you fold up the umbrella the way you would normally do a folding up, and then you would wrap this fine mesh mosquiting so that, and also it'll have a ring at the top so that you can launch it from a tree rather than having a center pole. And so that big umbrella, the bowl, and the robe, and off he goes.
Travel light.
Traveling light.
Yeah. I can see why now. So much less worry.
Yes, so much, and everybody carries the same kind of equipment, which means when the monks are together, they can take those sangatis and cover a huge area.
Oh.
Make a canopy.
Maybe I'll see that someday. Maybe.
There is still that young spirit in my heart that says, "Yeah, let's go do that, babe. That sounds good." Adventure.
Yep.
So, but to do that builds the heart of strength. It takes something to say, I'm going to go and just go. I've got a destination like the Buddha's burial ground. All right. I'm going to take stuff, and all I'm going to take with me is the stuff I can carry. And I leave here in South Thailand. About the best thing I can do is get on the boat. But after I get off the boat, then I'm Tudong.
Yeah. Sounds like a nice
I haven't done it yet. My wife would kill me if I did that. She would say, "No, you don't either." And I said, "Okay, but it's a nice, for a little bit, a nice illusion, a nice dream, a nice concept, but that's all it is." So, poof.
Yep. Exactly.
Only do it long enough for it to be joyful. But when it gets into, oh, I've got to do it, or oh no, what's going to happen, or wow, that actually is going to be a lot of work, it may kill me. We don't even have to go that far.
Yeah, no, just what's in front of me.
Exactly. I've got all the tudong I need right here on this porch.
So yeah. Well, thanks, man. Anyway, it's it's good to feel like I finally know what I'm doing, kinda.
That's excellent. So, in that regard, let's do a bit of review because the review will be around the Satipatthana. That we do anapanasati for the fulfillment of the Satipatthana, and the Satipatthana is that we begin to understand more and more about the body We understand more and more about the feelings. We understand more and more about the mind. And we, as this last episode, we understand more and more about these um, mental concepts and delusions that we have. This is why it's considered air. It's like clouds, they just float in and out. But if we have too many clouds, they wind up being a thunderstorm.
Yep.
And so we just let a few clouds float in, and then out they go, and now we've got clear skies again. That's the kind of way to enjoy life. So everything is built around the Satipatthana, and everything is built around understanding. But here's something very interesting about that Dhammanupassana. It's the only one that does not have the word understanding built into it. For instance, in the Satipatthana, the body part is to understand breathing in and breathing out. But then in the third stage, it's to investigate the body and to train to investigate it. And then when we look at steps 5, 6, 7, in step 7 of Anapanasati, in the area of working with feelings and the old feelings and the sankharas and the thoughts and that kind of stuff, again, it's investigation. And that's what you're doing. You're beginning to investigate those feelings and those thoughts and investigating the mind. And so this is the whole quality of the Anapanasati practice, is to investigate these constituent parts of the body, the feeling, the mind, and these mind objects.
Yeah,
But in the mind objects, go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like I'm investigating it, you know. It's at least not consciously. It's more like stuff pops up and goes away and pops up and goes away. So I don't know. It's not like I'm consciously directing attention to anything.
Exactly. But when something comes up, you can see it because you're not busy focused
Yeah.
on or investigating something. Right. No, you investigate what comes up. That's exactly the right way to do it. Thank you for saying that, because a lot of
Okay.
people I can understand would not understand this quality of the investigation is what's happening right now, rather than looking for something that is not here right now. And while they're busy looking for something that's not here right now, they miss what's happening right now. Because, oh no, I don't want to investigate that. I want to investigate this.
Okay. Good.
And so you're exactly right. So when things come up, that means that we take a look at it. One of the qualities, in back to the Dhammanupassana, that fourth area, is that we begin to see, first off, that everything really is temporary. These thoughts, these concepts, everything is temporary. The breathing in and out is temporary. The body feels this way and then it feels that way.
Yep.
Everything is subject to change and change and change. But if we can stay satisfied with that, then everything is good.
Yeah,
So
at
we
some
kind
point, at some point I've noticed, you know, like I encourage joy, like, yeah, awesome, that's good. And at some point joy disappeared, you know, like I don't feel joy, the pleasant feelings of joy. And that moment I see the contrary, there is no joy. And and then I open it, and instead of joy I was like, that's amazing, what's happening, you know, like it was more like isn't it weird what's happening, you know? It was more curious, you know, like, oh, it's what's happening, you know, even that goes away and that goes away, and it's disappointing. You know? Oh,
uh-huh.
I see. So, yeah, even when, so I, you know, like, oh, what is joy? In fact, you know, it's not a pleasant feeling, looks like, because I can still be, I can still find fun even if it's not pleasant. So, so I don't know.
But that's okay, you see. Basically what's going on is that we're, as practitioners of the Dhamma, basically move from insight to insight to insight, which means that we're moving from known to unknown to more unknown territory, which means more surprise, one surprise after another surprise after another surprise. And then we're left in this state of, I'm so surprised about how much surprise there is to this.
Yeah. Oh,
But
I thought I got
also,
it. Yep.
and so this is also the eradication of the doubt. Because we are making progress, we know that we're making progress, we're moving from insight to insight. And that the reason that we know that is because we keep getting surprised.
Yep.
And part of that surprise is the surprise of, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I can practice correctly and get the benefits of it. Wow, I can do this. And
Yeah.
that gives supreme confidence.
Yeah, that one was nice. This removal of
Yes.
doubt was, oh my God. This
So I can,
I don't have to look around, like look for whatever technique or whatever book or whatever. This is this is really nice.
very good. You now have a new job. And it's going to be a very pleasant job. Not much of a job at all. In fact, it's the kind of job that you really want to do. And that is to either to visit this place often, or while you're there to maintain it.
That was my plan.
Yes, to maintain it. And the way to do that is exactly what you've been doing, is see those concepts as concepts and see that those concepts will pull you out of this state. And
Yep.
therefore, you don't let them be there long. You kick them out and come back to the present moment, back to this pleasant state over and over and over again.
Yep.
This is the teaching of the Buddha, to see that dukkha and come to a state of dukkha nirodha over and over again until we get.
Yeah. Yeah, we can. There is a lot of cleaning to do, but it's not like I can do it faster.
There's nothing to do.
No.
This is all there is to do.
Yes.
Everything will happen in the moment. There is no, let us say it this way. It feels like there's a lot of accumulated junk in there that needs to be collected up and thrown out. But if you were able to do that, the only way that you could do that is to see one of those things at a time.
Yeah.
And now, are you going to wait and collect that with other stuff before you throw it all out? Or are you going to see this one and then throw it out?
Yes, and it's so very nice of them. I don't even have to look for them.
Right, and then that's right, and not only that, they'll present themselves. Oh, there you are. Out you go. And there is no work in the future to do.
Yep.
There is no big job of cleaning to do. There's only the little job of getting it now and tossing it out and coming back to a state that's really nice.
Yep.
Because you're strong enough to do it. And you know now that no matter how obstructed the mind is, you can clean it out and come back to a state of joy and happiness. And sometimes the mind will get that way. Sometimes you're living in a life that you're not out on Tudong, for instance. That you're living a life that has buildings and houses and people who yell and people who don't, and all kinds of things to deal with. So there will be times when you were drug out of that state. Your job is to say, wait a minute. I don't like being out of that state. I'd like to be in it. Thank you very much. And so you'll go through the routine of anapanasati, get yourself back into that state and maintain it. And that's really all there is to That's all there is to it.
Yep. So very nice stretch. So thank you. Looks
Excellent.
like I'll keep doing that.
Okay, you keep going. You're doing great.
Thank
Call
you.
me in about a week or so and we'll talk again about it. But right
Sure.
now, no particular advice other than stay there.
That's good for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, we will see you. Bye bye.
Bye. See you.